Welcome to the show, everybody. Sarah's out today. She wasn't feeling too well, but I do have Mike here. He did a little special research for us this week about TV and how it's been affecting society.
Yes, that's right. As I'm sure that you're aware, I probably do watch a lot of TV compared to most people, but recently I've actually been cutting back a little bit and kind of been thinking about, well, how much has this really been affecting me? So I did a little research online, watched a couple of shows on it, ironically, and just came up with some interesting statistics. One thing that I came across, however, that really kind of sparked my fancy, and this is kind of what prompted the whole thing, was that did you know, or take a guess as to what uses over a third of the bandwidth in the United States?
Can we say that on a G-rated YouTube channel?
Oh, I think so.
Adult films?
Not quite.
Okay.
They might get into it, though.
Okay.
Netflix.
What?
Netflix uses over a third of the entire bandwidth in the United States. That's how much we're dedicated to this thing we call TV, this constant companion that's been with us since the early 1950s, and it's just been affecting us in many, many different ways. I guess just kind of since we're starting back in the 50s here, we'll kind of go to an example that started very early on in our little friend's history here, going back to the old Nixon versus Kennedy debate in 1962 or 1, I believe is what it was.
Right, that was like the first debate that was really televised and radio all at the same time.
Right, exactly. And what was interesting about that, when they actually asked the people who had listened and watched the program, who they thought would win. And the majority of the people that watched the TV show, or the broadcast, I should say, actually thought that Kennedy was the winner. And those who listened to the radio program, believe it or not, thought Nixon was the winner. Now, why would that be? I mean, if one man, if they're, the words are the same, the ideas are the same, well, what makes the difference?
I mean, obviously Kennedy was the actor, the more attractive, younger gentleman in the...
Well, that's the way you swing, Nick, but,
Hey! No, I mean,
you're right.
saying,
You're absolutely right. That's absolutely true. I mean, if you compare to Nixon, Kennedy was obviously a lot younger. He didn't have the 5 o'clock shadow that he had. He didn't have the sweat on the brow or the lower lip. And he just looked, I guess, for lack of a better word, more presidential. And so it kind of contributed to him getting elected. And just little things like that I've been kind of researching about how it affects us.
Okay, that makes sense. But what about, like, more recently? Have you seen any statistics or any information regarding, say, I don't know, just a stupid example, how Jersey Shore is affecting people?
Well, I mean, nothing in particular that directly correlates to it, but you definitely do see a rise in the last couple of decades of, just sort of more lewd behavior, more celebrities and popular figures doing more and more outrageous behavior. Now, why is that? And basically it's because they see it on TV and they think that's the best way to become popular. And then what you get happening is these idiots that watch the show, they think, well, that's just acceptable behavior. So it's kind of changing the way we perceive our own reality in a certain sense. And I thought that was very interesting. How is it life imitating art or art imitating life, essentially?
Good point. Well, I think that's all the time we really have for today, but I want to thank you guys for tuning in. We are kind of changing things up a little bit. We will have an episode next week where I'll be talking with the owner of Mark Murphy Productions about how he uses Final Cut Pro X to keep his business going. But not to take anything away, Mike, thank you for being on today.
Thanks for having me.
Appreciate your insight. And we'll be back with more next week.
Take care.